Hello and welcome to another one of those days where we look at the mod project Imperator Invictus. If this is the first time you're seeing a video on Imperator Invictus, it is a community project to breathe life into Imperator Rome after the devs have gone missing. And we've got another dev diary, Dev Diary 8. This is the first one after the public release of Imperator Invictus, and there's some hot fixes. There is no release that has gone perfectly smoothly. It doesn't matter where you're looking. It's not a thing. So there is a hotfix, and this dev diary, I believe, is called Pyrhhic something. Pyrhhic Victory. It's down here. You can't see. It's right there. But yes, this is the Pyrhhic Victory patch that we're talking about, and yeah, let's just read the dev diary, shall we? Apologies for no face cam. It's like 30 degrees where I live right now, and I'm not looking presentable. I'm just not. Anyway. Salvete, readers! First of all, we, the Invictus team, would like to thank all of you for the nice comments and criticisms you've brought to us. We're looking closely into everything you've reported and continue to work on the mod by the community for the community. There has been a lot of feedback. I think the biggest bit of feedback that I've personally seen, or the biggest, I don't know if it's right to call it a complaint, but it is something that a lot of people have brought up as something they're not entirely comfortable with yet, and that is food, and we're going to go into that in a moment, but let's just continue reading for right now. Since we're now in a period with little new content close enough to be released to put in a dev diary, I'm mostly going to be talking about things we're fixing and the dev clash we're organizing. Firstly, the dev clash will be organizing a multiplayer between Invictus devs and content creators. If any dev from other mods or content creators want to join, then contact Snowlet on the Discord. There's a link right here. There's also a link in the description below. And I can tell you, I'm going to be taking part. I'm going to be playing. And it is going to be commentated, hosted, commentated, what have you, over on my good friend Vespasian's Twitch. He's going to be observing and doing that kind of commentary role. I am going to be playing as Rome. So there is some content for Rome, as far as I know. We're also, with this Pyrrhic Victory patch, maybe there's some content for Epirus where there may be some conflicts there. But what I can tell you is that there will be a Carthage player. There's going to be an Epirus. There's going to be a Macedon, an Egypt, a Seleucids, Bactria, Armenia. There's going to be a Gallic player. There's going to be a nice spread of players in this Dev Clash multiplayer, and I think it's going to be a good time. Hopefully we're going to also be able to show off some of the Galatian invasions. That seems like it could be a really fun time. And yeah, I mean, playing as Rome, fun, very, very fun. I'm looking forward to it for sure. So, this is going to be going on every Sunday from 7 to 11 CEST. I think that's wrong. I actually think that's wrong. I'm going to have to look into that. Because I can't do 7 to 11 CEST. And Snowlet knows that. And he was trying to work the scheduling around getting me to be able to join. So yeah, I think he's got the time wrong, because it's supposed to be starting at 8 p.m. British time. This here is 6 p.m. British time. If this is the case, I cannot take part. Come on, Snowlet. Alright. I went and I gate crashed the multiplayer that Snowlet is currently playing in, which is this one here. He's playing as like an Egypt here. This is Defugal. He did the Q&A last week. I just gate crashed this because this is live. I just went and gate crashed his MP just to be like, hey, yo, Snowlet, what's going on with these times? And yes, he made a mistake. It's going to be 9 p.m. CEST till 1 a.m. CEST. If you watch the multiplayer games that I do personally on my channel, the one where I'm playing as Phoenicia right now, we did the one with Rhodes. If you watch those live, they start at 9 p.m. CEST. It is the same exact time start. So, huzzah! I'm actually going to be taking part as Rome. Fantastic. Because if it was here, I would not be taking part. This is wrong. Don't worry about it. So yeah, as I was saying, it's going to be hosted and commentated and observed by Vespasian. I'm going to be playing as Rome, and we've got a bunch of other countries, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun because I can take part. It's great. It's great. But yes, there was also the Pyrrhic victory update, and we have a bit of a changelog as well. Totally reworked the historical Roman and Epirot missions. So yeah, there's gonna be some clashing, I assume, between myself and whoever is playing as Epirus. Epirus will now invade south of Italy and fight for dominance against the Romans. The Romans have had their aggression lowered early game, sure, to simulate historical expansion. There's also a starting truce between Rome and Samnium. Samnium being this country right here. It would affect the AI, which I guess is what they're going for here. For a player, Samnium quite frequently allies with Lucania, and it's very easy to get a claim on Lucania and just attack Lucania. 3 forts, and then you can full annex Samnium and keep Lucania in the war for longer. And honestly, when I play, generally I do attack Samnium, and then I leave him occupied for the entire war while I occupy Lucania, Apulia, Messapia. They generally ally with Samnium. So this is actually kind of a speed up for me, as now I have to attack Lucania. I don't have to keep Samnium in the war. I could always have attacked Lucania before. I'm a bit too smooth-brained for that. But yeah, that's that truce. Thracian AI is smarter. They use a workaround, so they integrate Adrician sooner, which is great. More coat of arms to Germania. Let's go and have a look at some of those, because I like new coat of arms. Let's see if we can see any that stand out as new. Generally, oh, this one I think is new. Yeah, I think that one's new. We've got... That seems new. I don't recognize that one. That's definitely one of the new ones. It's quite nice, actually. Chelsea, I believe, is new. Frisia is the same. And now we're going into Denmark, so I don't think that's new. Alright, yeah, a couple of new ones there. It's not bad. I also noticed that there are some new flags. Obviously, we've seen this Onubaya, but... I believe I saw some new flags elsewhere, and I can't remember where I saw... Oh, I do remember, actually. Aduia has a new flag, as does someone else around here. Was it Britannia? No, that seems normal. We got Oxibia, which I think is a new country entirely. That's got a new flag. Yeah, but there's some new flags just dotted around the place that you can find. Some of them are really cool. Certainly better than this, you know, Haft or lots of check marks. I don't really dig them. That one's new, Bitergia. But certainly, it's a nice change to this checkmark and Haft. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel good. Trinavanti, I recall, is also a new flag, which is that's just gorgeous. That's just gorgeous. Like that, I like that flag. I would change the colors personally, but you know, I really like that flag. And I don't know why I'm talking about flags, because we still have the rest of this dev diary to go through. City-states have been buffed to compensate for the new food changes. They get an extra trade route, more food, and slightly higher pop cap. Yeah, food is a big part of the update, and it has changed the way you play. Like, throughout the entire game, the way you play is vastly different. And it has to be. It has to be. And again, we're going to go through the rest of the dev area, and then I'm going to talk about my initial impressions of Invictus. Because I've played around a little bit. I haven't done a vast amount. I really haven't had time. Just to go over why. My son isn't at daycare right now, and my wife is still at work. So all the times that my son would be at daycare and I would have time to record, stream, play stuff, that time is now full-time daddy. So, yeah, I've played a little bit. I just haven't had time to really dive in deep just yet. So, yeah, we're going to talk about this in a moment. New content, added a beautiful new icon, which is down here. We'll have a look at it in a moment. Bug fixes, recolored the Thracian culture group. Don't use the same color as another group. We can have a look at that. Thracian culture group is nice. I like this light blue thing. It's pretty nice. Bithynian being a part of it is an interesting choice. Pretty sure Bithynian should be Hellenic. Yeah, interesting choice. Interesting choice. I'm not sure how much I agree with that, but alas. Effects not becoming independent from the Pyrhhic puppet missions. We talked about those before in a previous dev diary. Fix mummification not working properly. That is an Egyptian thing, or it might be a Kemetic religion thing. I haven't touched on that just yet. It was in a previous dev diary, I believe, but I haven't done anything with it. Teutonia not having Cimbrian culture, they now have it. Lots of wrong filing coding bugs, broken German localization, fixed being able to form Israel more than once. I didn't know Israel was formable, but apparently it is. Fixed edge cases with succession breaking thanks to Commander Kings. Fixed edge case with Galatian event firing more than once, and fixed duplication file. Lovely stuff. But the main event is the new Roman Imperator AI behavior. To balance Rome a bit, we lower their aggressiveness in the first 12 years of the game. Also an important change is that Samnium starts with a truce with Rome. It means Rome is somewhat caged in, as they were historically between the Etrurians in the north and the Samnites in the south. For Epirus, to get it to behave historically, somewhat railroaded their behavior in the first 15 years of the game. They'll almost always end up taking the Macedonian land, negotiating for the northern tribal lands to take some feudatories. They'll also now move their capital to the farmland port beside, in the province of Ambracia. After about 9 years, the Imperator AI will take its mission tree to invade Magna Graecia, convincing most of the Italiate city-states to accept the protection of Epirus. They also get a small invasion army and a port province in the tip of Italy, so the AI can ship its troops over. The feudatories will ensure almost every time Epirus will be at war with Rome, which will almost always lose. They can, however, do a Pyrrhic victory and white peace, in which case Rome will just return to attack Epirus later and win for sure. Which is, I don't mind this kind of little bit of railroading to nudge history in the right direction. We get it with the Fourth Diadochi War, and, having the Roman Imperator or the Pyrrhic Wars. I'm fine with that too. I don't think there's anything wrong with a bit of railroading in the early part of the game to, push things in the right track. It gives a more interesting game for the player, whether they're playing in Rome, Epirus, or watching from the sidelines. Seeing Epirus actually going for Rome is interesting to look at, whether you're playing as, Etruria or Egypt or whatever. And then we can see some of the typical examples of wars between Rome and Epirus. So you can see either Rome has taken Lucania, but Samnium is not yet taken. Epirus managed to get in, and there's a war there. Or they've taken Samnium, Lucania, Apulia, Messapia will ally with Epirus, and they'll go that way as well. That's pretty cool. We're also working on some balance changes, for example, to compensate for the loss of trade goods. We made most settlement buildings cost 160 instead of 200. To counter the Antigonid expansion to Thrace with the new CB, they got 2 slight buffs. Mainly they're now railroaded to integrate Odrysian like a player often does, almost doubling their levy. And their capital gains an additional fort defensiveness modifier to allow Thrace a little bit more time to respond when fighting on 2 fronts. Yeah, this is the Thrace. They start, of course, being Hellenic. Almost all of their land, however, is Adrician. None of this, or almost none of this, is Macedonian. A lot of it is Propontic, which they don't accept. So the starting levy for Thrace is absolutely minuscule. And yeah, to really work in the early game, they do need to integrate Adrician. So railroading the AI into doing that is also pretty good behavior. Another balance change is to buff city-states. They get a global mood modifier. They get a mood modifier. More happiness. No. More food. Slightly higher pop cap and an extra trade route to prevent the cities from starving to our new food system and to allow them to gain slightly more pops in the city. New coat of arms for a few Europeans. First is for Adricia, which has got this lovely one. Out to the north, new coat of arms for Etruscia, Chaucia, Lugia, and Aeduia. I think we saw all of those. We found them all. First three are based on the etymology of each tribe, while Aeduia is a combination of an archaeological find for their emblem and their name for their coloring, fire red. I like this one. I like this one. Not a big fan of that one. That doesn't look great when it's so small. That one just looks freaking weird. I do like this, though. That's pretty cool. And finally, we have the new icon. You know, we like some visual distinction. The mod solved in the first update. We now have this lovely icon. Not sure where it comes from. You know, Statue of Liberty surrounded by horses. Cool. I like it. It's pretty nice. During the brainstorm, an obvious source of inspiration was found pretty quickly. Of course, only Sol Invictus could have become the symbol of Imperator Invictus mod. So here it is, the unconquered sun as an insignia to inspire our team and lead it to new heights. Sol Invictus, there you go. So, problems that we're looking into. Of course, it's a very, very ambitious mod. There are going to be some issues, and, you know, we've done, I imagine they've done a pretty good job of finding those. I'm pretty sure the mod has something like 5,000 subscribers already. Can't imagine a lot of them are posting, you know, bug reports, but a decent enough amount of them have been that there, you know, things have been found. So during the character screen lags a lot when loading it for the first time. This is because of the new artwork behind the characters. Is maybe a little bit much. So low resolution art for the screens with more than a few characters. It'll hopefully reduce RAM usage and prevent crashing. Looking into the prisoners, reducing stability bugs. This is a vanilla thing. It's really fucking annoying. You go to war, you annex somebody, and their characters that were taken prisoners by, say, your feudatories or your allies during that war end up costing you stability, which is really fucking annoying. And it should just be not a thing. It's garbage. It's you know, it just never works. It's not good. Small teaser for next week. We'll be showing off more content. I actually have no idea what that is. I have actually got no idea what that is. But yeah. Yes. The release is out. The release is out. So we're gonna talk about food just briefly. Let's choose Rome for an example, and we start the game. Obviously, we start in October. This is right before the food changes happen, right? Generally, if you are playing as Rome, you start the game, you start with 2 grain in your home province. You might want to turn that off. You don't want to trade away your grain because, you know, there's only 2 grain provinces in Rome itself. Generally, I like to remove that barracks and build a farming state there, but that's by the by, it's whatever. If you go into the winter months, you will end up finding that you will lose such an amount of food that you will starve. You will starve. There we go. -65 every single month. This happens until, I believe, it's March. In March, this stops being the case. Or actually, it might be a bit longer than that. Well, I guess we'll find out. And with the amount of food that you gain during the summer months, it is plus 40%. You will not be able to replenish the total amount of food that you are losing during the winter, which leads you to be Oh, okay. April is when the negative 40% happens. But then, of course, you're still... sorry, the negative... I can't actually remember how much it is negative. It's a big percentage. But then you go to 0. And then during the summer, it goes plus 40%. I think it's negative 80% or negative 90%. It's a colossal amount of food that you're losing. But then we go to summer soon enough. I think maybe June is when summer starts. And we get to plus 22. This is not enough to replenish the amount of food that you lose during the summer. Sorry, during the winter. So what you have to do as Rome, I assume it's going to be the same for other countries as well, is you need to import a lot of food. At least 2 fish, well, maybe you don't need the... Yeah, no, two fish, 2 livestock is handy. Honey is very, very useful to get, but it's very difficult to get as well early on. Because as every single country has basically lost trade routes, or lost trade goods, sorry, because their cities are not giving +1 good like they have done before. Like if we go over to the Mauryan capital of Paliputra, you can see that they're making 3 silk because, well, for starters, they got enough slaves, but they get +1 for being a metropolis. That +1 used to be for every city, and a metropolis would give you +2. As that extra trade good has been wiped clean from every city in the game, which, you know, it's a fair few cities, right? That's a fair few trade goods that have just disappeared from the map. All of these trade goods, or everything in blue, 1 trade good has been deleted from the game. You have a minuscule amount of trade goods left, right? We've only gone less than a year. There is no iron, no horse, no wood, no strategic resources at all that we can trade in. There is no citizen resources, there is no freeman resources, no noble resources, and no slave resources. The only resources we can import right now is food, and a very little amount of it. 21 total goods is what we can import right now. Of course, at the start of the game, that's not a problem. You're going to have more than 21 slots open. But the trade changes are vast. Just the reduction in the amount of trade goods in the world is colossal. And it does change the way that you have to think about playing. You cannot generally get the goods that you want. Generally, you know, you might want precious metals, papyrus, cloth. You might want all these goods. You can't get them anymore. You're going to have to think about things like, say, in your areas where you've got iron, you're going to want to build a mine because you need to get the slaves needed for surplus down. Thankfully, these are slightly cheaper to build. I think there are other things that I would do to it. Maybe the mines and farms being, you know, straight up +1 trade good. +1 trade good. It would make them so much more valuable to build. I think that would be a good idea. Maybe we could get some new buildings. Maybe instead of I don't know, you could get a pasture or something for horses. There's things you could do. There's things you could do. Maybe honey could also have farm building. You could have pastures for horses, elephants, steppe horses, camels. You could, you know, maybe make use of the, I don't know, the slave estate and change its name to something and have it be expensive, but it give you +1 of whatever trade good is there. Just something along those lines would be nice. But yeah, trade has vastly changed, food has vastly changed, and you're going to have to work with it. I don't know if they're going to rebalance it in the future. It is, like I say, it is just a change to the way you're going to have to play the game. I haven't yet played too much into the late game. I've not gone further than about 480. So if you know what the later game is like, please let me know, because I've got a multiplayer coming up next Sunday, or I guess this Sunday, and well, I might need to know how to play. So let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are. Have you played Invictus? What do you think? What are your complaints? What are your loves? Just let me know. Let me know your thoughts. I want to see them in the comment section below, so please do leave them there. But until then, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this little video talking about Imperator Invictus. Until next time, salvete, and goodbye.